So you fell in love with the show
I
also?
did. Yes, I saw it. I think just the first two had come out, and
Yeah.
I actually saw a TikTok edit with them, and I was like, "What is this show? I have to know what this is right away."
It's always
Um,
the edits.
yes, the
It's
edits get me every time. Like
same.
I have I watched the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe because like of an edit I saw, It's like I have to have it.
How did you start to watch the show? Did you read it first, or like was it just on social media you saw it and you started watching it? Like, tell me about it.
Okay, so I did not read the books yet. I am a big reader though, so I will read them eventually.
Yeah.
But one of my friends forced me to watch it, and I also kept seeing TikToks about it, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. But I first watched it downstairs on the TV while my dad was in the room, and I was like, this is not his show. I should just turn it off and watch it on my phone or something.
Did you like read the book before you saw the TV show?
No, I read the book after, not
Yeah.
after, after finishing episode 5.
Yeah.
Episode 6 wasn't out yet,
Okay.
and I wanted more of it, so
Okay.
I read both books in like 2 days,
Like
two or 3 days.
between the five and the sixth episode?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Wow.
I didn't. I know I didn't want to spoiler myself,
Yeah.
but I was too noisy. I needed to know.
I'm writing my thesis
Okay, yeah.
at the moment, yeah.
Mm.
And I've been working on it for the past 4 months at this point, and I was getting like I'm exhausted. Like I want out now. Then I encounter Heated Rivalry. And that for me was like, oh, I can talk with people online and still have time to study, engaging, socializing somehow,
Yeah.
but at the same time keep my schedule, my thesis schedule. So definitely that adds a huge role for me in this obsession because that's an obsession at this point. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I ever been able to be a normal fun or something. I
Yeah, yeah.
always
Every
like
person which I call is kind of telling me that like we can't really love something the casual way. I think someone said
exactly.
that online. We all were very surprised that it got so good so fast, like so popular so fast.
Yeah.
How did you process that? Like when you saw your feed, Instagram, like your For You page getting all worked up, like
If you had asked me at that time how the show was gonna do, I would have said like because I I move in this very very weird little gay corner of the internet that is very fangirl like my first fangirl obsession was One Direction, and then I dove into like sports, F1, and now I'm here. So like very 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 specific corner of the internet that is very passionate, okay? So if you had told me 2 months ago that this was going to be a mass psychosis that's taking over like the general media, I would have said no, that's not happening.
Yeah, I saw the first two, and then I actually had like a whole week to wait for the third. And then the third episode is Scott Hunter. So I was like, what the hell is this? Like, bring me my boys, I like when he's like texting, we didn't even kiss, and then he deletes it. Like, that's 2 weeks to wait in between that.
oh
And
my
then when
God, it's
we were
true.
back, like, yeah, that was, and I think a lot of people got to watch once they had all come out, so they don't realize that. But like for me,
Mm,
I mean, and it was like the holidays, it was like,
yeah.
and I was like trying to work while I was like thinking about Heated
Oh, girl,
Rivalry
that
all the
was so
time.
hard. All the time it was in my
Yes,
head. All the
all
fucking
the
time.
time.
I think the success, like for me, the success of Heated Rivalry can be like broken down in like I think three or like four main topics,
Yeah.
which one of them I think definitely is just the way that how true to this book this is. Like this is the best book adaptation that I have ever seen.
Hmm. Yeah.
And especially having read so many romance books, it was so well done that you felt like you were in the book because the actors were portraying the characters in a way that I looked at the screen and I was just like, you know, like you can actually see the inner monologue that is happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a reason why the show is so good. This show is a lot of show don't tell. There's a lot of
Yeah.
show don't tell. It doesn't tell why someone does something. It
Mm.
doesn't tell why something is happening. It wants you to understand by yourself. And that's what I like. I love that because that's rare these days.
Like for a low budget TV show, being
Hmm.
that talkative in a
Yeah.
non-speaking way, like in a
Hmm.
non-verbal way. Either
Hmm.
it's the acting of the context or the places, locations, like it's very talkative in that
Yeah.
sense.
For example, in the shower scene, which I think was no, not shower, the gym scene, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The that was released at first. Yeah, and you just look at Shane and you go, okay, this this is what he's thinking. Like he's actually thinking what's in the books. And this is really special to me, especially because I am autistic as well. And I never am able to like read people's faces.
Mhm.
But then I just looked at it and I was just like, for the first time, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something I can see.
The book is not my cup of tea, just because as I told you, I'm not a huge romance fan
Yeah,
at
of
all.
course.
Like, so it wasn't my cup of tea, but at the same time, I found it really like well written, and it somehow gave like a perspective in their inner lives of both Ilya and Shane. But I love the TV show much better, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just think that there are certain scenes that in the book are completely absent and really, I don't know, shift the narrative somehow in the
Yeah.
show.
Okay, yeah.
And you like both of us were talking about Yuna like earlier on, but I think the Yuna, like the coming out scene of Shane coming out to Yuna was just like a really crucial scene, and also Ilya confronting his brother as well. It's just like they're both are confronting their word to allow the other person in, and at the same time they're both confronting basically their, I'm not the shame, but like their baggage, their traumatic baggage somehow. I think I wouldn't like the last episode as much
Mm-hmm.
without it. And it's
Yeah.
insane that it wasn't in the book at the first place.
Some fans told me that it was a good adaptation. I don't know what you think about it.
Yes, I think it's an excellent adaptation. I think I like a lot of books that become movies or become TV shows. I like both of them very much separately. I don't necessarily get attached to how perfect an example it is. They're sort of two different sets of art. And that's how I feel about them. I think Jacob Tierney's writing on the script for the show is like absolutely fantastic.
Mm.
And him bringing a queer male voice into the writing, whereas Rachel Reed, is a heterosexual woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think women write excellent romance. And I think a lot of gay men were like, thank goodness Rachel Reed wrote this because we could never, like we don't write romance in quite the same way. But the way that Jacob Tierney wrote like the other parts of it, like the big thing is like Shane coming out to his mother, like that scene is not in the book.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that's just such a beautiful scene in the show. And I think Jacob Tierney just felt, as a gay man, like this is such an important part of life that I want to include it in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think it was one of the most beautiful, like, coming out moments on TV I've ever seen. And you just see, and you can see them, neither of them wants to talk, and she opens her
Yeah.
mouth to talk, but then doesn't. And it's so obvious to the viewer, like she wants to say, I'm so sorry, I didn't see this, I didn't help you with this.
Mm.
And then when he starts to say, I'm really sorry, I really tried, and you just see her, I mean, it destroys her because she's like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here trying to apologize while, trying to say, how could you ever forgive me? Well, you're over here thinking the same exact thing. And it's like, that's when she sees it and she, embraces him and she makes him look at her,
Mm-hmm.
which, like, as an autistic person who has a hard time with eye contact, sometimes eye contact is so important because it's so human and it really drives home like a point. So that insisting on getting his eyes. And then also the scene where, I mean, she says, I hope you forgive me. And he says, I forgive you. And I think that was very, beautiful. Like when I was a kid, my sister and I, when we would fight, we would say, I'm sorry, I forgive you, and then it was over. And it felt very complete. And I think that's sort of a young, like a childish way to be, where you're like, I want the words, like I want it to be very complete and concrete and straightforward. And Shane, because of his being neurodivergent, he has that. He's like, can you forgive me? I
Yeah.
forgive you. And it's like it's whole now.
Yeah, I agree with the fact that it's like a little bit childish. Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes from that. And I do believe this is healthy communication that we don't do anymore. Like we say
Yes.
sorry in other ways, or maybe we don't want, maybe we have a hard time doing it, or like saying I forgive you, the word like yeah,
Mhm.
forgive.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
fact of
it's so
forgiving.
rarely
Yeah,
said.
the act
It's
of
so rarely
forgiving.
said.
Exactly. It's
Right, right,
like
right. And
it's
sometimes, a lot of times you just move on, but you don't address it.
yes.
And yes, and I think that's something that is very challenging for neurodivergent people to sort of just be expected to move on without having any closure. I mean, I know I
Yes.
struggle with it a lot.
I also really want to shout out all the girls, like Rose
Oh
and
my God, I was going
Svetlana
to
and
talk about that.
Elena, because they all clocked it and they supported them. However, the boys needed at that moment, but they never overstepped
Amen,
or like
sister.
outed them or anything. And I love that so much.
And it is literally the best representation of females in TV, in my opinion, because it is so accurate that the women in their lives are the first ones to actually have common sense and to be like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're actually stupid.
I like
Mm,
that the women are strong women and that the women are supportive women, all of them. Not one woman is not supportive in that show, and I love that with every bit of my heart. I think it's so great that they know. No one has to tell them. They know what's going on. They know it before the guys know, and I love that.
we all said it. You said that to me before, but the way they clock in everything before, they have this instinct, and it's a good representation
Yes.
of women instinct of either you're in a relationship with a gay guy, you would know. You would fucking know.
It was just like so, also Svetlana literally clocking that
Mm,
Lily, no, not Lily, that Jane was Shane. That is so freaking girl. It's just like
it's
girl.
girlhood. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes.
definitely. And
And it's so realistic that the females are smarter.
mm,
Also loved when Svetlana said, I hope Jane knows how lucky he is. Because she knew. She just
of
knew.
course, you clock it. And you can see it in the show. You can see all
Yeah,
those women are
just being
so,
so supportive.
yeah,
Love them.
they are the reason. Like all the
Yeah,
fucking time, it's women uh, making the plot advancing. Like they make
yeah,
the situation go a certain way and probably the best way possible. Not
yeah.
saying that they it couldn't have been there. I really do think, no, I really do think that,
No, actually, yeah, same.
yeah,
Yeah,
actually, I really do think that if the woman weren't there, there wouldn't be Ilya and
true.
Shane.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, I think it's very, very nice to see that Rose is so self-confident. She's like, I'm not bad in bed, he's just gay, But it's
Yeah.
not arrogant, It's like she's not like some arrogant, like not portrayed as an arrogant knucklehead hug bunny, but she's actually portrayed as a confident woman who
Yeah.
is just like very, very aware of her surroundings.
Hmm.
And also like the way that she talked to Shane about it, like she didn't do it in a condescending or judgmental way, or like she wasn't even mad, but she was so understanding and supportive. And it was just like really, really nice to see that like the way that women weren't villainized.
Exactly. Yes.
And Rose is like, she's such a good person because she understands him weirdly, I think better than maybe he understands himself. Um, so
Yes.
she's a really big help, and I it is really hard to put into words for me how special that scene in particular was, because we see someone who's struggling so hard with something that shouldn't be a struggle,
Hmm.
and she tells him like, this is not a problem, because a problem is someone that you someone something you can fix. You don't need to fix this, you need
Mm.
to accept this. And
Mm.
I guess if she had told me that, I'd be like, yeah, girlie, that checks out. Like, maybe I should start thinking that way. And I feel like maybe he needed that a little bit.
Yeah.
Without like Rose, first of all, the coming out scene was just touching. Like I
God.
start crying immediately. And it was not forced. It was just like I'm creating space for you to just be yourself and embrace it. And it was just the perfect thing. And it was shot brilliantly as well. I'm
Mm.
not talking about the performance because insane Adson Williams performance. Like his way of acting with his eyes, incredible.
Micro
Just
expressions are insane. And that's such a simple conversation, but you can see it in his eyes that he's so scared, but
And also
and
the
so
way he goes
confused.
nonverbal is also so on brand for an autistic person.
Yeah.
He's overwhelmed. But I just also think that for Shane, it was very, very important to experience that, like, to actually, like, because I think he has a lot of internalized homophobia, which I think is very on brand with the hockey industry. I think it's a very nice saying in the book. It was something along the lines of him saying he didn't really think that he could meet a girl and actually like her.
Yeah.
It's a very, very essential
Hmm.
thing that needs to happen for him to actually understand, like, accept his sexuality and
Mm.
embrace it.
Yeah.
I don't think without Rose allow him to be himself, and without Svetlana as well, to be honest, like
Yeah.
being like telling Helia that she knows
Yeah.
that they would have somehow ended up
No,
together. I don't
but
think they
I
were brave
think
enough.
you felt very seen, right? With Shane.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, see, I think Shane was done so beautifully because he shows how much processing goes on mentally in
Yes.
somebody like this who sort of presents as more shy or presents as more guarded.
Hmm.
The way Hudson Williams plays him so beautifully, especially the eyes, like you can just see how much thought is going on, but then
Yes.
also it's I think that's a big part of it is that he doesn't know, like Shane doesn't know that he can be perceived, like when he's tearing up talking to Rose, like he's so clearly crying, but like he's thinking that he's hiding it
Hmm.
because the tears aren't falling and he's able to, he hasn't said anything
Hmm.
revealing or what. But it's like, oh buddy, everyone knows you're upset. Like,
Yes.
but that's such a typical experience, like as an
Yeah.
autistic person. Like I feel that way a lot where I think I'm keeping things under wraps or I'm really trying as hard as I can. And
Hmm.
somebody's like, "Hey, why don't you go like take a break in the room?" And I'm like, "I'm fine."
Hmm.
And it's like, "Oh, everyone can tell, but
Yeah.
like I'm doing my best and everyone can still
Yes.
tell." Like, and I think Shane experienced this that a lot and
Yes.
it's like frustrating for him.
What's the most relatable thing Shane did for you? Either as an autistic person or not.
Going nonverbal thing, like, that was very
Yeah.
something that I was just like, okay, that's very, very on brand, because
Mm.
whenever I go through something where I'm just like overwhelmed,
Yeah.
I also go nonverbal. And especially for me, I'm such a talkative person, but then to actually not be able to talk, like, it is physically impossible to talk sometimes in those situations.
Okay, yeah.
But then also what I think was very, very accurate was the scene where he was talking to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you can like kind of see that he has a very hard time looking into her eyes.
Yeah.
And she's just like, look at me, because she knows she has to bring it across. But also, I think he
Mm.
never really had a hard time um, having eye contact with Ilya, which I thought was very, very on brand as well, because like with your comfort people, it can be so easy to maintain eye contact. But
Yeah.
then also the fact that he just put on a suit when he was about to hook up with Ilya for the first time. I think it was actually genuinely the first time that I saw a representation of an autistic character that felt like I could resonate with.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Because it wasn't a Sheldon Cooper situation.
Yeah.
It was a high masking
Mm-hmm.
autism situation.
I was late diagnosed with autism, and for a while, I mean, I was early diagnosed with anxiety and then OCD. And I guess both of those things share a lot of symptoms with autism. And to me, like if I had known I had autism from the beginning, I could have been using these strategies that would help me better, as opposed to all these years of therapy I went to for anxiety and OCD that were not really getting at the problem. And if like I had seen Shane Hollander on TV, or, another autistic, like The Pit is a show about the ER, and Dr. Mel King on there is autistic. And it's like just these characters of these people in the workforce with autism, I see myself in so much. And if I had that, and if I had put a name to that when I was younger, I think I could have figured it out earlier. So that's what I'm hoping that and a lot of people will comment on my videos like, oh, I think I'm autistic. Like, oh, I'm going to go ask my doctor about this right now.
And that's
And
cool.
yes, and I think it's wonderful. And Hudson says he played the character in part based on his father, who's an engineer, who he says is autistic. I don't know if it's so tastefully done, in part because of that, because
Yes.
Hudson is playing that character
Yeah.
after his own father, who he loves, so obviously he's going to play it with a lot of care.
By the way,
Yeah.
I need to say this. I found this so funny that Rachel Reed had to clarify that he is autistic. I'm like, girlies, the grass is green, the sky is blue, this man is autistic. Can we get a grip? I'm
No,
not
yeah.
gonna sit here and be like, yeah, the autism portrayed perfectly. Like, I wouldn't know shit about that. But like him, me with my neurodivergent bullshit and my stress disorder and stuff like that, I have never felt so seen on screen. Like, they ate that shit up.
What do you think about the characters? Do you have a favorite character,
Mhm.
or which one may be related more to you?
Oh, I
Like
love
as
Ilya.
Ilya?
I love Ilya with all my heart. I love him.
Why?
Um, I said at the beginning, I saw a video once where someone wrote Ilya is the only youngest son who is an eldest daughter. And I felt
Oh
that was
God.
so right. I felt that with every bit in my bone because I am an eldest daughter and I felt like he is facing a lot of struggles that we are facing. And with his family and with being the asshole to everyone because he has to protect himself some kind of way. But I always say everyone is portraying Ilya as the asshole, but he isn't. He is, yes,
Mm.
he's cocky and he's playful and stuff like that, but he doesn't call Shane an asshole and says fuck you and stuff. Shane does that. He's not an asshole for that, but
Yeah.
he's the vocal one that is insulting, not just in front of Ilya, but in front of his family and friends as well.
So true. I didn't even realize that Shane was like it was the one always
Yeah.
calling him an asshole. Mm.
Even though it is an insult, he doesn't feel insulted by it because he knows that's just Shane's way of coping. But
Yeah.
that form of empathy comes from his role in life, from his family, from wanting to do something that gives him composure. That's why I love Ilya.
It's the same with Ilya, right? Like I think he handles the little autistic behavior so well from Shane.
Yes.
And
And
it's yeah.
he just adores him for exactly who he is. Like you see it at the very beginning
First
when like
episode.
yes,
That's
and the first like when he's folding his clothes is like the first thing. Like he like immediately they're in the hotel room and Shane takes off his pants and is folding them and Ilya is just grinning because
that's
he's
the
like,
fifth time I'm while rewatching the scene. So
yeah, pants. Like who is this boy?
yeah,
Where did he come from? And like how am I the one that's discovering him? You know?
the man is yearning so much and waiting
He's
for
yearning
Shane.
so hard.
Yeah.
He's so obsessed with him, and you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell. In the book, the first thing they meet, it's the same as in the series, and the first thing that he says, "Oh, freckles." That's the first thing that he sees about him.
Yeah, that's
That's
beautiful.
crazy. You don't know that man. You're seeing him for the first time.
And you have ginger ale in your fridge.
Cold, ready for him to melt.
No, but
He's
like
so cute.
those
He's
details.
thoughtful.
A
Yes.
straight man who is not emotionally intelligent will never understand why I find that attractive that there's ginger
It
ale
is.
in the
It was
fridge
so
of
hot.
Ilias. Afterwards, when they see each other in Tampa, he says like we're not compatible, and Ilya looks up the word afterwards. Then oh my Shella.
I
Oh my
cannot.
Shella.
I cannot be normal about this. It is incredible.
And it's always romanticized or being in humor, kind of a slight humor,
Yes.
always romanticized in the best way.
Yes.
And it's part
Yeah.
of the love story, and I love it.
Yes. I love, I mean, it's just one of those situations where it's like if Shane listed all the things about himself that he's self-conscious about, and then
Hmm.
Ilya listed all the things he loves about Shane, it would be the same list, you know? And it's like just one of those beautiful relationships.
But then I think Ilya loves that Shane is so boring because I think it's a kind of predictability and
Mm,
stability for him.
yeah. And the concern that Shane like shows in this is also I think that Ilya lacked. He saw in Svetlana that she was worrying for him, that she cared. But like I think he lacked so much of people being concerned about him.
Yes.
Shane has a lot of people that compliment him, that tell him how cute he is and how great he is, and captain and whatever. But no one tells it to Ilya once in that show. Not even once. And that broke my heart so bad. So
That's
because
felt.
I feel it. I
Mm.
felt it so deep.
Do you know what Ilya is saying when he's winning the cup?
Yes, stop it. He dedicates it to his mom. He said, "This is for you, Mama." And I'm like, no, I can feel my heart breaking into. I
Yes.
saw something as well that um you see Ilya resting his lap, his sorry, his head on Shane's lap.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, he also does that with Svetlana,
Yeah.
and I saw someone say that that is probably how his mom used to comfort him when he was little. I'm so sorry to break your heart again.
That's not nice.
I
It's
think acts of service is also his love language, not
yeah.
just physical touch.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I
Definitely.
saw somewhere that in the book, you really get to read that Ilya is an aftercare king. He's
Yeah.
a consent king, and I love that consent is such a big thing in the show.
My God.
It was so cool and refreshing the way that when they sleep together for the first time, that Ilya like keeps checking on him. And Shane is kind of like, he's kind of like, yes, and annoyed. But I think this is part of what really makes the show so successful, talking about like fan culture, because
Yeah.
as a woman, like consent is sadly a very big part of like the sexual word I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
or more the lack thereof. it was just a tiny detail that
Yeah.
just added to the way that women like to watch it, you
Yeah.
know?
That's when like, also, it's not talked about enough, like consent in general, in like lots of movies. Like, it's not
Yes.
it's taken away um in profit of wildness and passion and tension
Yes.
and
Especially Helia constantly asking for consent. That was straight away my take when I first watched it. And I was like, that's good representation and it's steamy anyway, which is so difficult to do. Like asking for consent and like keep being hot.
that's
Perfect.
exactly and consent is hot, for God's sake. But
Exactly.
like, because of the tension, because of it has to be fast and it has to be,
Yeah.
sexy,
Yeah.
wild, and we forget to ask. Just do it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a turn off, and I don't get why it should be a turn off.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if it could be done good in a way that it doesn't feel like it's less sought at all. Actually, it's the contrary. Like for
Yeah.
me, literally, Ilya asking so many times.
Yeah.
Wow, they all like, can I go in? Are you fine? Are you sure?
Again,
Is it still okay like this? And are you okay?
constant.
And do you
Yeah.
regret it? Or I love that.
Let's communicate while we're doing this, please.
Yes.
That's how you do it. And it's difficult to even tell that to straight guy that you hang out with,
Oh my
like
God,
hook up
yes.
with. It's like they will never understand it. So to just have that as an example on visual culture, I'm like, please.
Yeah.
For example, that one scene in Las Vegas when Shane is in Ilya's room and that hottest scene of all time takes place. Um
That
Ilya
hottest
stands.
scene of the whole time.
It is. Oh my freaking goodness.
It's
Hmm.
the whole set, the colors, and yeah.
Everything, the
Uh,
mood. I told my husband, we
yeah.
watched the show, and I
Yeah.
was like, do you see that atmosphere? You see the lightning and everything? That is what makes that hot. It's not them having
Yes.
sex, the other things make it hot. I want him to
Exactly.
understand of human mind because it feels like he's safe in there. It feels cozy, even though it's not. And that makes it hard because safeness is hard. Feeling safe is hard.
Mm. It's
Yeah,
that's mostly one of the stuff that is very hard to explain. That just emotionally,
it is. Yeah.
uh,
If you were to ask me of my favorite scenes, like none of the sex scenes would even be in top 10, except maybe the first time they sleep together because of the consent, not because of the sex itself.
right,
So, and then the second
right.
part,
They're each other's first love, first crush, first sex, first everything. I mean, not Ilya, I guess, but first one that means anything to him.
Yes, yes.
And so it's just, yeah, it's
It feels very
very,
pure. That's
yes, it
the
does.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
And
though you're watching graphic gay sex, it feels very pure because 18-year-old boys are having gay sex and it is pure. It's the
no, yeah.
same as straight love. Like it's
It's
not,
this, yeah, but people are so not like bothered. Some people, because with
yes.
they're like it's extremely sexual. Some people say that. Like, I heard a reporter said that,
Yeah, yeah, totally.
and like, it's Bridgerton. It's not
Yes,
even like
yes.
it's
No,
fucking Bridgerton.
seriously. Yes,
Don't fuck with
absolutely.
me. That's
Yes.
the same fucking shit. And
Uh-huh.
you're just disturbed maybe in some way because it's two
Right. Or you're
guys. Just because they're sucking cocks, like,
right.
roll the fuck up.
The aftercare part is you see a teeny tiny bit of it where after that first time, Shane is like, now the bed is all dirty. And apparently because Ilya's gonna go take a shower and then Shane's like, what's happening? But in the book, it continues on that after Ilya is done showering, Shane goes to take a shower and Ilya changes his bed covers.
Oh, that's so sweet. It amazes me, and at the same time, it makes me feel weird how much we can get excited for, those little
The
gestures that
normal
should
stuff, the
be.
basic stuff.
Yeah, when you love someone, how you want to take care of them, and like, of course, like, it doesn't come your way all the time to find someone that you deeply love like that.
Yes.
I get it. But sometimes it's very hard to even a male friend sometimes to make him understand. Depends on the friends, but like I think I had lots of that where it came to describe to them or make them understand what I wanted, or what I felt attractive, or what I really liked in a relationship. It was hard to make them
Hmm.
understand that those kind of stuff are worth
Even with female
millions.
friends as well,
Mm?
because as a society, we're so used to not having that,
Yeah.
the basic stuff that we now get excited over.
Hudson and Connor were asked about this quite often. I don't know if you saw.
I saw what Connor's story
And
said. I think he said, wait, they are so exhausted by the idea of straight men that this is the only way they get to see a form of masculinity that feels accessible and interesting.
period. Oh my, I didn't see that. Oh my God, that's so good.
It's still, straight guys. I don't know.
They don't face the same problems as gays or women do, but we do face similar problems, gays and women.
Mm,
And we had the opportunity throughout the show to see and watch people that face the same struggles or similar struggles as we do without being scared of misogynistic writing because it's two men. It's not two women. So it's a kind of a safe place for us. So we can watch from an outer's perspective and just say, okay, I'm watching how you guys deal with the struggles that maybe I have as well,
mm.
but without being scared that the producer or the author wrote something that is hateful towards women because it's not in this way. Because we're talking about two guys. They
Exactly.
can't that is it's reassuring. It feels like a safe place within a place where men are present,
Hmm.
but not like straight men.
Yeah.
That they're not dangerous per se. Don't get me wrong. I'm married to a straight man as well. Um, but it's different when you know that you can talk with the other sex about things that you experience as well
Mm.
without being scared that you are going to be misunderstood.
I saw someone say, I don't remember when or where, that women like to watch this because they don't have to feel the like they don't feel the need to resonate with the characters. Like
Yeah.
they can just be like they can objectively enjoy it without like kind of like projecting everything that they see onto their love life.
No,
Because
exactly.
a lot of, and I think the whole like the past year with the male loneliness epidemic
Mm.
and the whole it's cringe to have a boyfriend just really showed that women are fed up with men and dating and everything. And
Yes.
here they like we were able to look at something that just there was not no toxic masculinity, there was no
And it's
misogyny. Like we were just able to view and
yeah.
enjoy.
So I do feel safe seeing those two guys being so in love, because at the same time it gives you hope, but at the same time it's just pure admiration that
Yeah.
it exists, but it doesn't mean that I I'm projecting on either both of them. Like I want Shane or I
Yeah.
want Ilya, because I
It's
don't.
just like a good example to see, basically.
Yeah. It's
And
something I think it's really admirable, and it's cool. And as I think we are those person, maybe you and me, or like other people that I talk to, we are people watchers, I guess.
yeah.
And we love seeing those stories and people being happy, basically. So I think as women, we are very compassionate and passionate. So
Yeah.
Probably what I liked, and probably a lot of women as well, was like seeing men that aren't afraid to show feelings, to yearn, to
yes.
like really love their significant other. You know,
Yeah.
like to I think it's always so for me, I love watching like a person fall in love,
Hmm.
especially like obviously also women, but I think actually that's a whole like the representation of that is very bad. So that's a whole other thing. But
Yeah.
like to just look at a man and you see I think it's also kind of like jealousy, or no, not jealousy, but like envy to see
It's an
something that
envy.
you want
Yeah.
for yourself.
I felt very inspired. I think also about I was like I think you were watching the show and you were like, "Oh, that's possible. Oh, that's so much hope. That's so much faith."
Hmm.
I've never felt that much joy in a while. Like, and
Yeah.
I felt very excited and
Yeah, I
about
totally agree.
something and something so simple as
Yes,
that. So, because with everything that's happening right now, and we feel very disconnected to each other.
absolutely.
So, I mean, in every part of the world, right? So, you needed something light and happy, to change that, I think.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And something, I mean, it being a queer story is just so special. It's like really what we needed, and it's just so happy. And it's like people watching Heated Rivalry that are not as familiar with romance were like, oh no, they're going to break up at the cottage, or they're going to
No,
get
yeah.
found out, or they're going to get kicked out of hockey, or, like it's going to be a tragedy. And we
Yeah.
get so many of these queer tragedies. And like Call Me by Your Name is like one that I absolutely love, but it's
Yeah.
devastating.
It's
And
heartbreaking.
yes, and it's like, no, queer people are done being devastating all the time, Like it is time for some joy.
Say it.
So yes, I just thought that it was exactly what we needed.
We are a generation very sad generation, and we need some happiness right now, and just seeing
Definitely.
people being happy and falling in love and having a happy ending.
Yeah.
That was a need for me.
Yeah. At the same time, I do really think that for me, it was kind of a bubble of happiness among what's happening, whatever it's happening in Palestine, in America. It's incredible, like insane. And both talking as an Italian in this moment, in this political climate, is not good. Like,
Yeah.
we'll be honest, like we have a fascist government in Italy that is trying to everything they could to shut down journalism, independent journalism, and just push back women's rights and queers' rights as well.
Yeah.
So look like watching a story that highlights women's role as we talk about Rose and Svetlana, and Yuna, which is a really good like example of like strong women, and it talks about real love, about two queer guys just trying to fight against your toxic inner masculinity and just love each other.
Yeah.
It was like I need this, and I need this to have an happy ending, because like if I can do it, like we can all do it.
And especially in a community, like the way the fandom is always aligned on so many things, on so many
Yeah.
opinions, on so many takes, so many
Hmm.
scenes. We were moved by the same stuff. We cling, hold on to the same things, either it's scenes or like expressions. It's so special, I feel like.
It is, especially now in the time where everything is divided and the far right is got power and everything. It is so beautiful to see that we as human beings from all around the world, from different backgrounds, can love something equally, something that is rooted in love. So it's healing. It's kind of your healing. It is.
It is very
Yeah.
healing.
I was bullied when I was younger, and especially as a neurodivergent person, I was always left out, and I didn't really fit into groups. And yeah, I was very, very lonely a lot of the time. But then with this show, like I feel a sense of belonging that I
Yeah.
was lacking the majority of my life.
Yeah.
And that just gives me so much comfort, and it's healing for me. It's very healing to just be able to feel part of something and to
Yeah.
be part of something.
I think
Like
we
a little me, 5-year-old me is so happy about that, you know? Yeah, I know that was very, very deep, but yeah,
No,
it's
it's
just that,
not
you know?
like, that's why this podcast exists. For me, I was waiting. I just saw the fifth episode, and so it's like, I'm coming to the cottage, right? It's
Yes,
it's
and then
the end
the
of it.
week, like Yeah,
And
and
that
then you have the
fucking
week
week,
to wait. Yes.
there's no comparison of being a fan at that moment, waiting for that sixth episode. I think
Right.
that we were very special to
Totally.
live live the week between those two was extremely exciting and very nerve-wracking, but like so many
Yes.
people, you saw all those at the same time edits, montage like of photographs, people being at the cottage, like
Yes,
being people
absolutely.
doing their suitcase to go at the cottage.
Uh-huh.
There was
And
no comparison to that.
I love that we have that because I think when I was growing up and we had network TV, it was like everyone was waiting for the next episode of Friends or, of something. I was like my parents were waiting. I was young, but or even me, like Hannah Montana, the next, and
Obviously,
all
yeah.
week it would be like the preview for the next episode. And then when we got binge watching, like in streaming, it kind of went away because you would get a whole season at once. And then I
Yes.
like how these networks are going back to like, no, we're going to give you one a week because that week where you're all collectively waiting for the episode is like, I mean, it's so human, it's so like special how people are all, it's art, you're just, it's exciting for humans to be excited about art.
I don't know. I didn't feel like I was fitting in any way when I was little, and I I thought I was feeling too much. I thought I was like exaggerating too much. I think like everything that I liked it was too much. And like because some people feel like it's so trivial, and
Yes. Or
but
also
I
they think it's too intense.
yeah, they feel like
Like,
you're so intense. You're too intense, yeah.
yeah. They're
And
like, oh, you're reading like 12 hours of fan fiction a week minimum. That's so cringe. That's so weird. You're obsessed. But then like whenever I tell like the people who are in the bubble, okay, I read this fan fiction, they're like, give me. You have fan fiction, give.
yeah.
I've I have a long friend of mine, like long in the sense that we were used to be friends when we were in middle school and then we lost touch completely.
Yeah.
And we kind of get in touch again because of this show, I need to say. Like
I
we,
love that.
it's a man. Um, it's a queer man. So basically, we got in touch again, and we were like fangirling together, sending each other things, and like, by the way, how's life? How's going? And talking about how it is good for queer men and bisexual women or like women in general, and just like some good conversation around it. I would just, see the power of fandom of like and good things being produced. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just the community of it.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
yearn for that. Like, and that's the thing that flourished the most
Yeah.
when I saw social media. Like
Yeah.
it was the yearn for community. And if you never experienced that, I think that it's a beautiful thing to go into for the first time. And
Yeah.
I just saw I don't know if you saw that, but I saw so many people say like this fandom is a prison and I never want out. And I saw like first cold, I'm nervous. Like
Exactly. Yes. No, I especially relates to, which is to say, but I especially relates with those tweets that talks about like I thought that me writing a fan fiction would have ended when One Direction ended, but I'm still here in 2025. And I'm like, I have this idea. Should I open? I was literally talking to my friends about this, and I was like, this is me when I was like a 13 years old. What's happening? Why am I back in this? How did that happen? Like I survived One Direction.
It was very funny to see how many people were saying things like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I so into this? Why am I so attached to these characters? Like,
yes.
what is wrong with me? And it's like, no, this is art. Like, it's supposed to do this. It's like, we
It's
haven't had we haven't had something like this powerful in a while. I mean, art
yeah.
moves me very much a lot of the time, but it's like this story, it's so human and it's so raw.
Yeah.
My friend just made a video and said, I'm 29 years old. When is it cringe that I'm fangirling? And I said, never. You always can. There's no age for fangirl. Please never stop.
Yes, but also what I think needs to be mentioned is that I think it's also really like especially the heated rivalry bubble is helping like us stepping towards a place where fan culture is more healthy because
Yeah.
as I said before, I'm on the side of people like being supportive and not like invasive.
If it doesn't hurt anyone, like why should
It
I
doesn't.
restrain myself? Like
Hmm.
why? Like I could be like the biggest stan of something. Like stan is
Yeah,
not a good word, right? But like I can be the biggest fan of something
fan. Yeah,
and not hurting anybody with my
exactly.
my memes or my edits and
Exactly.
like it's I feel that it's beautiful when you have that kind of excitement over something when it's like that much people coming together like
The
over
funny thing is, oh, sorry,
this.
I
No, but
interrupted
like
you. I'm sorry.
over just a over a love story. Like it's beautiful to
Yeah,
being able to be sensitive and to talk about love basically. I really do like the fact of having this conversation because also it puts some light on people's not like in woman opinion and like it's very woman centered for me that content too. Like I want
Exactly.
also to give that space, you know.
Good.
Um and even like lots of fandoms, but I do believe that the fandom concept is very woman driven,
Interesting.
feminine
Yeah.
driven too,
Mm.
because we are so girlhood. Like the girlhood in general is very, you know, the solidarity,
Yeah.
sorority is so much more powerful than a fraternity, I think.
Female fan spaces are criticized to a to like to death. It is weird, it is obsessive, it is crazy that we dress up, put on makeup to go to the show. Okay, but like look at like okay, football, soccer, whatever. Look at football fans.
Yeah.
They do the same. They drive like hundreds of kilometers to see their favorite team, and it is okay. It is normal.
Crazy double
And
standards, right?
yes, and I think especially now because the essence of what we're essentially fans of is masculine, but it's so such a healthy masculinity and so untoxic that it feels just as if we're making progress towards a world where fan culture is not weird when it's women, you know what I mean?
I mean, being like this towards emotions that you say emotions are something bad or you're too sensual or something like that is all part of misogyny because we should restrict ourselves because we do something good, we show emotions. Maybe men should when they crash their controller into the TV because they lost a game or something. Why isn't that emotionality the bad thing? Why is that relatable and normal? And why are
Yeah.
we the crazy
Because,
ones?
you know, it's men and anger, right? It's
Oh
like
yeah,
it's you know,
anger
it's
is
a different
okay.
it's yeah, you know,
It's
it's
still an emotion though, and no one
still
talks
an
about no
emotion.
one men don't realize that anger is an emotion. And
Yeah.
that they get
And a
angry
very
very, very
dangerous
easily.
one. And
Exactly.
a
The funny thing is, people love to fetishize intellectualism and to demonize emotions, but intellectualism came through emotions. There is no intellectualism without emotions. You cannot understand anything without understanding what you're feeling. And
true.
to separate those both things is stupid as hell because you need emotions to understand, because you need to understand your emotions first.
Yes.
There's no way you can just push them aside and just be like rational because rationality isn't there without emotions. We have both. We're human beings. We're not books, we're not computers, thank God. And it's good to that we have that because there wouldn't be any kind of art without emotion.
Yeah, that you know that's
Art came through
so
emotion.
Especially like in the last few days, I saw people talking about Severance and Pluribus, and I like I loved Severance. But at the same time, I hate that whenever you talk about Heated Rivalry, since they're a love story about two queer people and there is a lot of sex, it feels like it's a cheap TV show compared to Severance, that it's like so mentally and psychological. Like, no, they're the same. They're just dealing with two different stories, but in the end, their core is always love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like being a multitude. Both of them deal with that. And I
Doesn't
was like,
have to be complicated to be very,
good.
very evident and very good and very like, yeah. Maybe not all women like that will appreciate this show the way we do, but like I think most of women because we are sensitive
Yeah,
and I find my sensitivity being a real strength like in
it
my life.
is.
That's also a main point of what is annoying about the double standards with women,
Yeah,
appreciating a
yeah.
show when they go all in, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to like being very passionate about something, and when we
Mm-hmm.
go all in and we explore every facets of a show, like a thing, but either it could be
Yeah.
a show, like a sport or anything.
I know you watch Formula One as well. I saw it because I do too.
I knew that. I mean, it's so frustrating when you are not allowed to fangirl over like characters' bodies or behaviors and feeling the depth of the story. Like,
Exactly.
I feel like those two for people don't come together. Like, otherwise, you're not really. I know why you're watching it, and it's not because, it's that deep, because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And because, like, you can do both. Like, it's the crazy thing that you also in F1 it's like it's the same shit
I was
where you're
thinking about
like,
F1 as
oh,
well.
your favorite drivers are like Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Then you're not a
Yeah,
fan. I know
yeah.
why. I know why you like them, and it's not because they're good. Oh, okay,
It's so
okay.
funny because you
Don't
don't see the
mind me.
drivers.
Lando Norris just like won the world championship, but like,
Yeah,
okay, that's why I love him.
yeah.
And that's
That's the same thing
so
with Lewis.
okay, what should I say? What should I say? I my favorite is Fernando Alonso, and like why? Like
Still
what?
wouldn't be fine. Still wouldn't be fine because then they would say something like he's the oldest one. You have a daddy complex or something like that.
The patriarchy and society and heteronormativity and everything ruining the lives of everyone,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
including these hockey players who, and it's like you don't necessarily think about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and just if you, I mean, I think that it's very hard to determine like how many people are queer, because so many people are never going to admit it. But
Yes.
like, I mean, I would think it's close to half, honestly, like just
I
from the people
think.
I know in life, like,
Yeah.
so just to think how many male athletes are out there dealing with that and knowing how like what Scott Hunter says in his fictional speech, where he's like, I found out that I was that thing that boys call each other in the locker room.
You saying these things brought me back to I think the first scene of the last episode where Scott is like thanking everybody for the award. I don't remember what.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he was saying that at some point he started to realize that he was the name that people were calling, like insulting other people with.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh yeah, like that's how must feel for people, like queer people in locker rooms. And I never see that's an interesting thing because I'm a bisexual like I'm a bisexual woman, but I never played sport. So I had my of course I have my struggle with coming to terms with that fact because for a long time I wasn't able to realize it. In the end I did. But at the same time, for the first time ever, I think I really understood why people are struggling with coming out as gay men, especially.
Yeah.
Like there was like, oh, that's what it feels like. That must be basically. And it just was really, really striking. And you could tell that the creator were queer, like from that scene only. It was like, oh, they felt it. They know what's going on, basically.
I think the big part of the show being so popular, I guess, and you mentioned it right now, is the personalities of the actors, right? Because they are so respectful of the characters, the story, and either it's the queer aspect of it or the kind of breaking down the idea of toxic masculinity. I
Yeah.
really do believe that it's also a human pod that is important when it comes to the fandom. Someone said in a comment on socials, I would trust Hudson and Connor with my drink.
Totally. Yes, absolutely.
And that's
And
basically it.
yes, and I think another thing, like when we see men engaging in these more typical feminine things like having earrings or like dressing like Harry Styles dressing in more feminine clothes and stuff, and women are all over it, and not just like as an appreciation but also like we find it hot. It's like it's
Yes,
attractive, and it's
it
part of it
is.
I think is because you're saying like I honor and respect the women, the things you like as a woman, like the girly stuff, and I don't think that it's less than my stuff because I don't think you're less of a person, you know?
And Hudson and Connor are this girlhood materialized as
Yes.
men. And I said that to another
They're
girl.
like female bestie coded.
Yes, and not in a way, I'm not womanizing them. Like they are not like
Yes.
women, of course, because they are so manly. Like you can see that they are comfortable in their masculinity, and
Which makes
yes,
them even more manly.
yes, that was a long, deep
Yeah.
conversation, but it was
Yes.
very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. I think it
I
was very
loved
nice as
it.
well.
I loved it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that was a really, really cool conversation.
Thank you.
No, that was
It
really,
was
really cool. Thank you for all your insights. I love all your takes. I love what you said you have to say about the show. You're someone very, very like you think. I love the way you think, and I love the way you.
thank you.
Thank you so
Me too.
much.
Me too. No, I love it as well.
It was
Thank you.
lovely to meet you.
Bye. See ya.
Bye. Have a good
Bye-bye.
night. Bye. Bye. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you so much, you too.
Bye. You're a beautiful
Of
human
course.
being. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You as well. Thank you.
It was so lovely to meet you. I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.